Addington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy to rise and speak today to speak in support of Bill C-69. With this bill, our government is meeting our commitment to rebuild public trust and help Canada get Canada's resources to market. In developing Bill C-69, we heard from provinces and territories, Indigenous peoples, businesses, environmental groups, and Canadians from coast to coast to coast. Overwhelmingly, they told us that they want a modern environmental and regulatory system that protects the environment, supports reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, attracts investment, and ensures good projects can go ahead. That is exactly what our government has delivered in introducing this bill. Through better rules, Bill C-69 will support the responsible development of Canada's natural resources, create good middle-class jobs, and help grow our economy. Measures in this bill will provide more timely and predictable reviews, more certainty for businesses, and more opportunities for partnerships with Indigenous peoples. Mr. Speaker, today I would like to take a step back. I want to look more closely at the question of public trust. I'm going to discuss what it means to rebuild that trust, how this bill would accomplish that, and how the hard work of the Standing Committee on Environment and Sustainable Development has contributed through its careful study of the bill and thoughtful amendments. Where there is public trust, proponents, Indigenous peoples, stakeholders, and all Canadians can have confidence that major project reviews are based on evidence, including robust science and on Indigenous knowledge. It also means that when final decisions are made, Canadians are assured that those decisions fully consider the evidence and serve the public interest. That is what has been lost under the current rules, and it is what C-69 would restore. It would do that in a few ways, which I will go on to discuss in more detail, by clearly setting out in legislation which factors will be considered in reviews of major projects, by ensuring decisions are made in the public interest and the reasons for them are communicated, and by ensuring that panels established to conduct project reviews are balanced and include the right people with the right expertise. I'll begin with the factors that would guide major project reviews. Compared with SIA 2012, Bill C-69 sets out a more comprehensive and complete set of factors for consideration in reviews. While it provides strong protection for the environment, the bill expands the scope of reviews beyond the environment alone. Assessments would take a broader view based on sustainability, taking into account a wide range of impacts on the economy, health, Indigenous rights, and the community. Crucially, Bill C-69 would require consideration of a project's impacts on Indigenous peoples and their rights. In the words of the Prime Minister, no relationship is more important to Canada than the relationship with Indigenous peoples. Considering the rights of Indigenous peoples in every review fully aligns with our commitment to achieve reconciliation through a renewed relationship based on recognition of rights, respect, cooperation, and partnership. Finally, the bill reflects our government's commitment to effective action on climate change. It would ensure the reviews consider the effects of major projects on Canada's ability to meet our climate change commitments, as well as our obligations related to environmental challenges like air quality and biodiversity. That supports our action to fight carbon pollution, such as working with partners to put a price on pollution that will cut 80 to 90 million tons of GHG emissions by 2022. Mr. Speaker, that is where we began when our government introduced Bill C-69 in this House in February. Since then, the Standing Committee has strengthened the bill by adding even more clarity on factors to consider in project reviews and by improving consistency across the legislation. To highlight just a few of the changes, the committee has clarified that both the positive and negative impacts must be considered, recognizing not all effects of major resource projects will be negative. It has amended the proposed Canadian Energy Regulator Act to ensure that climate change is considered when making decisions about non-designated projects, including pipelines, power lines, and offshore projects. It has improved consistency by requiring that the same set of factors guide both the agency's decision on what information and studies are required for a project review, the review itself, and inform the impact assessment report. All these measures would support more predictable reviews, more certainty for industry, and public trust. Mr. Speaker, over and over we've heard that a good process means nothing if the decision at the end is opaque and is based on politics, not evidence. When that happens, there can be no public trust. Bill C-69 does the opposite. It sets up safeguards to ensure that science, Indigenous knowledge, and other evidence form the basis for important decisions on whether major projects will go ahead. Specifically, following amendments by the Standing Committee, it would require decisions to be based on the assessment report prepared by the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada. Decisions would also need to consider key factors, including the project's contribution to sustainability, meaning its ability to protect the environment, contribute to the social and economic well-being of the people of Canada, and preserve their health in a way that benefits present and future generations. And to provide certainty and build trust, public decision statements would need to clearly demonstrate how the assessment report formed the basis for the decision and how those factors were considered. This clarity would benefit all parties, proponents, Indigenous peoples, and stakeholders. Through transparency and accountability, it would help ensure that decisions on projects are made in the public trust. In terms of further amendments that would improve transparency and help restore trust, the bill would now require that the minister consider any feedback provided by the proponent when deciding whether a decision statement for a project will expire or whether to extend the timeline, and that comments must be provided during a time period specified by the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada so that meaningful public participation is ensured and balanced with the need for timely assessments. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about the safeguards Bill C-69 provides so that panels set up to review major projects with life cycle regulators strike the right balance in their membership. Our government and the Standing Committee heard from some groups that this is a critical step toward restoring public trust. We recognize that these regulators have long-standing specialized expertise and knowledge. Their participation is essential to ensuring that Canada's resources are developed in a way that protects the environment and grows the economy. We put forward amendments in committee to strike a balance, to ensure that review panels also include other voices and perspectives. The bill would require that the federal regulators do not constitute a majority on the panel. At the same time, regulators would continue to serve on panels and contribute their expertise. Mr. Speaker, we cannot get Canada's resources to market without public trust. With this bill, we rebuild that trust by introducing new, fair processes for project reviews. Bill C-69 defines the needed safeguards so that Canadians can again have confidence that processes are fair and evidence-based, that decisions serve the public interest, and that the right projects go forward. As I've described, these measures include clearly setting out in advance the key factors that will guide major project reviews, requiring evidence-based decision-making, being transparent when final decisions are made so that Canadians know that the process is being followed and can have confidence in the outcome, and ensuring balanced review panels that bring together diverse expertise and multiple perspectives. I'd like to conclude by once again recognizing the work of the Standing Committee on the Environment and Sustainable Development. As a result of its members' insight and dedication, the committee's work has produced an amended bill that responds to the priorities of Indigenous peoples, stakeholders, and Canadians, and that further contributes to our goal of restoring the public trust. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.